Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Phay, and welcome to the channel. I realized my shin bone is a device for finding furniture in the dark. Today, we're taking a look at my top 15 racing games of all time. All right, folks, this is my personal list of my favorite or my top 15 racing games of all time. Now, let me clarify racing games because there's a lot of different games in the race category, especially when you look at BGG. And a lot of those games, the majority of them, aren't based on racing cars or anything else. This is my list of actually cars, motorcycles, and just vehicles, and I'm racing those. And it's more or less on a track. Okay, so it's not a card game and you're trying to do this or that, but I actually have a track and I actually have my cars on it, and that's what I'm racing. Okay. Everyone's going to have their own different opinion on racing games. I've talked to a few different people on it, but this is mine. All right. Once you see my list, you'll understand what kind of racing games we're talking about here. So, all right. So let's get going. We got 15 games. Now, some of these games I haven't played in a really long time, so I had to actually go back and try to remember how they actually played. I remember playing them, but I just haven't played them for one reason or another. So let's get going. All right, folks, here we go. My number 15 game is a game that came out in 2009, and it was produced by AEG. Okay. I haven't played it since probably 2009 or 2010. I used to play it with my son all the time. We had a lot of fun playing it. It's kind of a crazy futuristic racing game. Okay. And it is Russian Crush. All right. Now, Russian Crush is a futuristic game where basically you have three different teams. Every car is going to be a little bit different. Every driver is going to be a little bit different. And the cars and drivers are kind of matched up by team. And you're using these little clear tokens. There's some red ones, some white ones, and you got them on your little board and you're kind of sliding them around is what you're going to do. But basically what you have is you have this track that you're kind of building. It's random every single time. You determine how many laps you want to go. And you have this little pond, a little clear pond that's actually going to dictate your speed. Okay. So you're basically just setting your speed. You're trying to race around the board. You've got armor value that you have to make sure that you try to not lose all that because you don't want to crash. But you do have some weapons and you do have some other things you're going to be able to do. But theoretically, it's just a futuristic racing game. It's got some futuristic stuff. It's really dated today. I thought it was a really good game back in the day. I would love to see this game actually picked up again, modernize it, maybe update it a little bit, and keep going because I actually had a lot of fun playing it. My son and I, we just really, really enjoyed it. Okay. But like I said, futuristic, Russian Crush. I thought it was a really fun game back in the day. I do want to get it back to the table. I've been kind of wanting to do that and just to see how it holds up today. But there you go. That's my number 15. All right, folks, my number 14 game is a game that came out probably in 2010 by Z-Man Games. And it was just kind of a kooky little game, but I had a lot of fun playing it. And it's a game that I like to think of it as kind of a lighter Death Race 2000 in a board game. And that is Roadkill Rally. Now, Roadkill Rally is everybody's got their car. You're setting up a track. It's kind of a random track as well. But there's pedestrians, cows, all kinds of stuff out on the board. I think the year is set in like 2035 or something like that. And you're just gaining points by, taking out different obstacles, people, animals, whatever it may be. And then you got to try to get across the finish line, and see who wins after that. It's just kind of a kooky little game. I had a lot of fun playing. It's another one that I play with my son a whole bunch. But like I said, I probably haven't played it since 2010, 2011. We played it a lot when it first came out. Haven't played with it since. I'm looking at getting it back to the table because I do want to play it again. But there you go. That is my number 14, Roadkill Rally. All right, folks, my number 13 game is probably one of the newest games that I have on this list. It might be the newest or second to the newest. It came out in 2024 by Brotherwise Games, and I like to think of it as Mario Kart, the board game, and it is Dungeon Kart. Now, Dungeon Kart's kind of it's like Mario Kart. It's kind of a wacky little game. You have your little map set up. Okay, you're just trying to race around. You want to jump over and get your coins and everything else. You're going to be doing all kinds of other things. You want to try to take out your opponents, but you got to try to beat them at the same time. There's accelerators. There's a little catch-up mechanic if you're falling behind. But it's just kind of it's a really light, kind of fun and enjoyable little game. It's a very family weight game. But like I said, if you enjoy stuff like Mario Kart and everything else like that, this is one of those board games. You're going to get it to the table. The kids are going to like it, and they're just going to have a whole lot of fun. But there you go. Number 13, Dungeon Kart. All right, folks, my number 12 game. It's a game that came out about 1995, so it's about 30 years old now, but it's still a popular game. It's played at a lot of conventions, everything else. I really, really enjoy it. I've played it a lot. It's basically the most played game with me and my family. All right, and that is Pitch Car. And this is a game by, I believe it's Furty Games. Okay, or right down there. Now, Pitch Car is a game where basically, and my kids had fun doing this. You just set up whatever map you want. There's a whole bunch of maps you can set up for pre-generated ones you can set up. But my kids will always like to design them. Everybody puts their little token on the board, and you're just flicking it across the board. It's got to try to stay on the racetrack. If it falls off, you got to put it back where it was. But you know, the funnest part about this one is kind of flicking your little token around, knocking somebody else's car off, messing them up a little bit, okay, and just having a whole lot of fun with that. You have X number of laps that you got to go around. Whoever can do it the first is going to win the game. Okay. Super light, super fun. There you go. My number 12, Pitch Car. All right, folks, my number 11 games, and it's another older one as well. This is a game that came out in 2008 by Fantasy Flight Games, and it's probably the only racing game I have on this list with this theme. There's not a whole lot of them, okay? But it is Moto Grand Prix. Now, Moto Grand Prix has got to be probably my son's favorite game to play. Now, the cool thing about this one is this one uses the flip dice. Okay, so when you rolled your dice to see where you're going to go, you can flip them to your different sides. All right, which is you're going to basically help get you the number that you want. But the components in this thing are absolutely phenomenal. You have the little motorcycles, and they're either flat or you can have them do wheelies, or you have them going forward. And based on that, depends upon different things you're doing. Okay, you have your elevations on the road, your declines, and everything else you're going to have. But it's just a lot of fun. You can even lean the motorcycles, kind of shows you what you're doing. All right. The motorcycle, they didn't work great as far as the components. I mean, because a lot of times I'd lean them onto the side, or I'd have them straight up and they'd fall to the side. That was one of the biggest problems with this one. But you know what? We just played this one a whole lot as the base game, because you know my son was a lot younger back then, so the base game itself was actually just fine. But with that whole flip dice mechanic and everything else, just a ton of fun. We just built tracks, whatever we wanted. There's setups in here that you can actually do, but we like to build our own tracks. That was the most fun for us. And then just go racing around them and just have a whole lot of fun. So there you go. Moto Grand Prix, my number 11. All right, my number 10 racing game is probably the newest one that I've acquired. It's not the newest game in my collection of racing ones, but it's the newest one that I've acquired. Now, this is a game that came out in, 2017. Luckily, I just got a copy of it not too long ago, and it's from Jolly Roger Games, and it is Championship Formula Racing, or CFR. Okay, now, I believe this is a remake of, I want to say Speed Champions, which is one that I never really played. But I absolutely love Formula One racing. Formula One racing is probably my favorite genre of racing, okay? And this one does it really cool. So one of the things about this one is you're actually designing your car. Now you're designing your car based on whatever the track is, and you have a set number of cards. Everybody has their own little deck, and what you're doing is you're picking your starting speed, you're picking, your acceleration, your deceleration. You got a couple others. And every turn, you're going to be playing a card to see what your speed's going to be. You have different tokens that you can use to mitigate some different things. There's a lot of stuff going on in this game, okay, to try to explain it. But that whole building your car mechanism based on the track is really crucial to how you're going to be able to race. Because it's a super fast track. You want to build a track or a car that maybe has some really fast acceleration. If it's a shorter, or not a shorter track, but a slower track, you may not want to do more deceleration or whatever. But it's just really cool the way they did the mechanics of building the car with racing. Okay, the rulebook's really confusing and really hard to kind of understand some of the mechanics of the game. I struggle just a little bit, but I'll tell you what, it's actually a very fun game, and I really, really enjoy it. And it's one I want to get to the table a little bit more often. Okay, but the more I play it, the more I actually really like it, and the more I enjoy the theme of this game and how this one's set up. But there you go. That is my number 10 Championship Formula Racing. All right, my number 9 game is a game that came out in 2024. Okay, I can't say who put it out, or else it's totally going to give it away. But it's it's one that I've been kind of trying to get everything that I can for this game. I really enjoy this game. Okay, it's got some nice blocky components to it. It's a relatively simple game, and there's a lot of luck involved based on the dice of this one. And it is actually Joyride Survival of the Fastest. Okay, now, I think this is a really fun game. And there's also Joyride Duel, I think, which I have right there. Okay, Joyride Duel is just basically some smaller tracks. You've got a couple cars. But there's a lot of expansions to this game. You have different cars and everything else and several different tracks. And each one of those tracks you can play different based on how you configure them and set them up. Okay. But the cool thing about this game is basically you're just going to have your dice board. You got your dice that you're playing, and you're going to move them around, from your rearview mirror, figure out what you're going to do. But one of the things I really like is as you're moving your tokens around, when you hit the other cars, you just kind of keep going straight through and it's going to spin them around and do some other funky stuff. You can try to push them into the walls. And it's kind of like a demolition derby type race game, but you're trying to get around. You got to try to get through all your checkpoints the fastest. It's usually a 2 or 3 lap race, but it's just quirky. It's just fun. A lot of luck. Okay, just a ton of luck. I mean, I've had games of this where I try to roll my dice based on my speed, and I roll so bad. I roll nothing but 1s and 2s. I don't do very good. I can't get around the track, but I just have fun. Okay, it's just like I said, it's quirky and it's fun. Some beautiful artwork. Okay, but this is by Rebellion Unplugged, and this is my number 9 Joyride Survival of the Fastest. All right, so my number 8 is probably the most unique or unusual of these racing games, and it's a little bit different of a type of a racing game. Even though you're still putting your vehicles, from first to last and everything else, but it just has a really unique mechanic and very different. Okay, and it's one that a lot of people kept telling me that I need to play because it's some of their favorite games, and it is Red, White, and Blue Racing from Play. Okay, now this game came out in 2012. And basically how it is you have a bunch of cards. Okay, there's no plastic cars and you're not going around track, but you have these different cars and you have different levels of the track that you're going to be in, and there's just a lot of dice rolling and you're checking a lot of charts and you're just kind of seeing where things are going. This is one of those games where you're not necessarily actually racing all the cars, but think of it as you're watching the stock car race on TV and you're just kind of seeing how it plays out down in front of you. All right, so this one's kind of pushing the envelope of, does it really fall into my race games? And I'm saying yes, it does, just because there are decisions you can make that are going to move the cars around, okay, and everything else. Do I want to, try to use some of their token abilities so that I can try to move them up? Well, how do I want to play it? It's a really unique, really fun game. If you haven't experienced anything Red, White, and Blue Racing and haven't looked at it or anything like that, I encourage you to go check out my review. It's over on the Discriminating Gamers channel. It's a very unique, very fun game. And there you go. That is my number 8, Red, White, and Blue Racing. All right, folks, my number 7 game is a racing game from a company that I was not really expecting to do racing games, but oh my gosh, was it good. Okay, now this is a game that came out in 2014. Okay, and it's actually a stock car racing game, and it is Thunder Alley from GMT Games. All right, now Thunder Alley from GMT Games is basically you're playing a team of cars, or multiple cars even, and you have a hand of cards. And what you're doing is you're playing those cards, and it's going to maneuver your different cars down the road. Now you can get in the way of different cars. You're going to split them up. You're going to be pushing cars. Some of the cars are going to be drafting behind you. But it's basically just a regular racing game where you're using your cards to try to move your cars, and in the most advantageous way. Sometimes you want to use some of your other cars to try to block other cars from you, so that way you can move some in. All right, it's a really unique game, and I really like it. It's fun. You got different things that are going to be able to happen in your car as you're going, but it's just like I said, it's really unique. It's a great card play game, and I like the aspect that you're playing a team, not just a one individual car. And I like the fact that when you do something to move your car, so you're trying to get it into a line to draft, or you're moving ahead, you can actually push and pull different cars with you. It's just a really unique, interesting mechanic. But there you go. That is my number 7 from GMT Games, and that is Thunder Alley. All right, my number 6 game is a game that came out in, 2016? So it's been out for quite a while, almost 10 years now, about 10 years now. Okay, and again, it's another game from a company that I was not really expecting a racing game to come out, but it's really, really super good, and that is Grand Prix from GMT Games. Now, Grand Prix, unlike Thunder Alley, this is the Formula One game compared to the stock car one, but it's basically the same game as Thunder Alley. The difference is, sometimes when you're playing your cards to move into your line, if I remember right, it kind of does the opposite. So rather than trying to move into a line and the cars go behind you, you might move into a line and the cars are going to go ahead of you or something. Okay, I can't remember off the top of my head exactly how it was. It's been a little while, a few years since I played them. Okay, But both Thunder Alley and Grand Prix, they play very similar. You're still playing that team of cars, and you're still playing the cards. You're, with your team, you're trying to get them into your lines, and you're trying to, get them around the track and try to get your team to do the best you can, blocking however it's going to be. Okay. Very good. Both of these games, they technically could be in the same number, just kind of grouped together because, like I said, they play pretty much the same. Some things are just a little bit the opposite because you're going stock car to Formula One. But there you go. That is my number 7 Grand Prix. All right, so my number 5 game is a game that came out in 2023. Okay, it's a reprint of an older game, but it's one that is just utter chaos and so much fun. All right, and that is Thunder Road Vendetta. And oh my gosh, look at the size of this box. This thing is huge. Now, I have everything in here. Okay, I went all in on all the Kickstarters when Restoration Game brought this back. The original game, Thunder Road, came out in 86. I never really got a chance to play it. I think I played it one time, never played it after that, but I always liked it. So when Restoration Games brought this one back, I just had to jump on it. Okay, a lot of nostalgia here. Now, the cool thing about this game is you have your squad of cars. You have your 3 different cars. Okay, your small, medium, large. You're also going to have your helicopter. You got this random track that's set up with all kinds of different obstacles, or you might have an arena, whatever you have for your different expansions. Okay, and basically all you're doing in this one here is you're rolling your dice. Okay, you're going to be able to put your dice on your different cars. You also have your other little dashboard you can put them on, so you can put one dice on there, which might maneuver your helicopter, it might heal your car, whatever it's going to take. But you're just kind of moving your car around, trying to get in a position where you can fire at other cars, maybe land on them, try to bounce them off the road. Just do whatever you want to do. Okay, this is the demolition derby at its best, because the whole point of this game is to try to knock other cars out, but you also want to be the first one across the finish line. Most of the people win this game by knocking the other cars out and being the last on the road. Now, if you can get one way up there, okay, and then the tiles start moving, then you can actually drop some of the other cars off just based on that. But it is a lot of fun. This is, it's, if I want to play a car game where I'm just chucking some dice and I'm just laughing, having fun, not really caring what's actually happened, this is the game that I'm going to pull out. Absolutely love Thunder Road Vendetta. Okay, now this is my Maximum Chrome Edition. And what is this one? This is my number 5. All right, so my number 4, I'm going to give you a 2-for-1 on this one. Okay, I got 2 games. I can't really rate one over the other. I've tried to, but realistically, they need to be in the same spot. Okay, now both games are from the same publisher, and both of them have basically the same theme. All right, and that is Rallyman GT and Rallyman Dirt. See if I can get them in here for you. Okay, now Rallyman GT and Rallyman Dirt, they're reprints from the old original Rallyman game. Now, Rallyman GT is the one that came out first. And just, I went all in on the Kickstarters on these. I have everything for them. I absolutely love these games. Okay. Now, these are phenomenal solo games in my view, because you have these little hex tiles. You're laying the hex tiles out for your individual track. You have a bunch of dice. You're rolling those dice because they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You have the whites and the reds, so if you can try to coast and everything else. And what you're trying to do is you're trying to get around this track as fast as you can, and you're trying to score as many points as you can, or see how many you have left at the very end. Okay, it is a lot of fun. I have played these multiplayer, and I do enjoy them multiplayer, but to me, these are games that I just really, really enjoy as a solo aspect, and that's one of the reasons why I got them. Was for the solo aspect of the play. But they both, like I said, they play very, very similar. A little bit of differences between the two of them, but honestly, I like to keep both of them kind of in that little same rank, because I'll pull one out over the other, and I just have a lot of fun every single time I play them. So it's one of those games. I know Holy Grail doesn't have the license for it anymore. There's another company that did pick up. I can't remember off the top of my head what it is or who they are, but I know they're going to, sounds like they're going forward with the game still. But there you go. You want a fun, quirky little, not quirky, but a fun little game racing where you're going to have an infinite number of tracks that you can build. You can build super long ones, really short ones, however you want to do it. Rallyman GT or Rallyman Dirt is the game that's going to be able to do it for you. So there you go. That is my number 4. All right, so my number 3 game is a game that came out in 2021, but it's a reprint from an older game. There's different versions of this game. Okay, the 2021 version is what I have. And I have almost everything for it. I know they're still releasing stuff for this game. The last couple expansions are just some more cards you're going to add to it. I don't have those. I've been looking at getting into them. I just haven't done it yet. okay? But it's a game that originally came out in 1981, and that is Car Wars from Steve Jackson Games. Okay, now this is the 6th edition. And if you want, you know what, use the backside. We're going to go with the old original cover on this one. Okay, Car Wars is a game that I played a ton of back when I was in high school back in the 80s. All right, we had Car Wars, you had Sunday Driver, you had Truck Stop, you had Uncle Albert's, all the stuff that's going to come from that. We had everything. I love those small little boxes that it came in. You know, and of course, your little counters, you had to cut them out with a pair of scissors, and they were really, really tiny. You know, it had its little template and everything that you had to deal with. So much fun. We played the heck out of this. We played the role-playing game that went along with it just because we wanted to do a little bit more. Okay, very, very fun game. All right, now, Car Wars 6th edition, all right, when it came out, it changed everything up. It's now using the bigger template. So it's basically a Hot Wheel size car, but you can paint them, or you can actually take a Hot Wheels car and mount it on the template if you want. But I love the way they did the templates and the dice on this game. You have the cards that are going to go all the way around your dashboard. You have all of your tires. You have your armor. You can catch on fire. All right, but you're going to have your driver. You're going to have a gunner. They're going to have their weapon. Plus, you have all the different weapons and points on your car. Okay, you're on a track. This is now more of a tabletop miniatures game, all right? Because you have your template, you're moving your car, you're rotating them, you're rolling dice and doing everything else, trying to get those ace tokens, trying to prevent the damage from everything else, all right? So much fun. I absolutely love this game. When this game first came out, the 6th edition, and I got it, one of the first things we did is, man, I had 3 people. We were over at my house all the time, and we were constantly playing 2-on-2 team games, and it was just so much fun. I've got several maps for it and everything else. I love this game. I will get this thing to the table anytime I get an opportunity. If somebody wants to play it, it's set up and we're playing it. Okay. They even have a nice thing is they have the book, so it has a whole bunch of pre-generated cars. Now, are the cars balanced? I don't know if they're 100% balanced, but you know what? I don't care. I've just got stuff on the table. I'm chucking dice. You got the luck of the dice anyway, so that's going to break your balance in the first place in my book. Okay. But it's just fun. It is a ton of fun. Love throwing the dice down. Love playing this game. But there you go. Steve Jackson Games. My number 3, Car Wars, 6th edition. All right, my number 2 game. Okay, we're in the bridesmaid position right now. This is a game that came out in 2022, and it has become one of the most popular racing games in the industry today. You probably already know what it is. It's a game by Days of Wonder, and it is Heat, pedal to the metal. Okay, this is my number 2 for a few reasons. One, I absolutely love the Legends. Okay, the Legends deck is what's going to allow me to be able to put any track on the table, however many players I'm playing with, I fill it out so we have maximum number of cars on the table. Now, the core game is going to have 6 cars. That's all there is. So that's all you're playing is 6. But the thing is there's already like 3 expansions out for it now. Okay, the 3rd one I think just came out. There's a Legend update that's coming out, and I know they're going to be putting more tracks out. So if you play those other 2 expansions and play those 2 cards, okay, and then use all these core ones for the Legends, you can still have now 8 or 9 cars on the track whenever you're playing this game. And it just makes it that much more fun, okay? This game is phenomenal as a solo game. Playing it as a 3 and 4 player game, it is absolutely great as well, especially with the Legends, okay? You have your hand of cards. And basically what you're doing is whatever your speed is on your car, you're playing a number of cards, okay, to try to get to the corners or even through the corners based on where you're at, okay? You have the center of your board, which is going to have all your heat cards. Now, if you go through the corner by too many spaces, okay, or too much speed, you got to pay extra heat in order to go through it. If you run out of heat, you're going to spin out. All right, so you never want to run out of heat. But if you're going slow and you have heat that's blocking up your hand, you can actually put that heat back on your engine so you can now build it back up, okay? There is a lot of really fun, really interesting strategies to play in this. There is the luck of getting the right cars to do the right thing, but there's no dice that you're having to roll. But that's the beauty of this game is you got to try to figure out how to play your hand the best. It's a hand management game. So much fun. I absolutely love the tracks that come with this game. I hope they keep putting out more tracks for this game. But I'll tell you what, I will never get tired of playing this game, and I will recommend this game anytime somebody wants to play a racing game. This is one of the first ones that I actually recommend. But there you go. Heat, pedal to the metal, my number 2. Okay, folks, so before I get to my number 1, I want to give you some honorable mentions. All right, now I have 3 honorable mentions, and I do have one other game that I want to play, and we're going to talk about all 4 of those right now. Okay, so my first honorable mention is a game that it's not cars, it's not motorcycles, so I didn't put it on this list, But honestly, it should be on this list, and I'm going to put it here. And this game would be in my top 5 if it was, and it's also GMT games, and that is Charioteer. Okay, this is chariot racing around a track. All right, all you're trying to do is you're trying to impress the emperor, you're trying to impress the fans. You have a hand of cards, you're playing cards. They're going to do different things. Like your green cards are going to be your speed cards, your black cards are going to be for going around your corners a little bit faster. All right, and that's all you're doing. It's a 2-3 lap race, okay, with your chariots. It is so much fun. I know we play this all the time with Cody when he gets his classes together from the Discriminating Gamer. Whenever he does a lot of this theme stuff, and this is one of the most popular games in that everybody loves playing this game. Absolutely phenomenal, wonderful artwork. Charioteer. Oh man, if you want a chariot racing game, this is the one to get. Okay. Now, another honorable mention I have, and honestly, this one should be on the list as well, but I stopped playing it because of Car Wars 6th edition. Okay, I have absolutely stopped playing Gaslands. Now, I love Gaslands. Okay, I got the original game. I even bought the refueled. I started making some cars. All right. I do have a couple problems with Gaslands. It's one of those games where I love the game, but I think the cars really need the templates underneath them. But I don't know anybody that plays with the templates underneath them, because you can make a super long car compared to someone has a little short car, and they're going to get some different advantages. But it is a lot of fun. Okay, I do enjoy playing Gaslands. I just stopped playing it. Okay, just because Car Wars 6th edition came out, and I don't have to worry about building my cars anymore or doing anything like that. But it is a really, really good game. That's why I wanted to add this on my honorable mentions. It's one that I would like to get back to the table. If I know anybody that's playing it or wants to still play it, great. Let's get it to the table. But everybody's playing Car Wars these days, or they're playing, Heat. They're playing something else. They're not really playing this one. Okay. The other game I want to talk about, I don't actually have the game. A buddy of mine got it. It came out in 2005 by Rio Grande Games, and it was a racing game called Bola Day. Now, Bola Day is a game I would love to get, and I would love to get the expansions for it, or the other tracks. Bola Day is a vector-based racing game. Okay, it's a very mathy game. Now, it's one of those games where if you're really good at the math and you have a lead car and you're running around the track, they're probably not going to catch you because you're on that perfect line, and you just got to keep doing the math to get around that perfect line. Okay, if you mess up once, it's going to be bad for you and possibly the cars behind you. All right, I haven't played this game since probably 2008, 9, somewhere in there, maybe 2010. It's been forever and a day. A buddy of mine bought it. We played it a few times when he got it. I remember the game. I liked the game. I just never got it, but I would like to get it. Okay. I have seen it out there. It's super expensive, and I'm not going to spend that much money for it, but I still would like to get it, and I would at least like to play it again. Okay. But that's my other honor mention. That's Bola Day. Now, I do have one game that I do want to play, and that's what I want to talk about here. And if you remember my number 7 game was Thunder Alley. Well, GMT Games also did Apocalypse Road, which is based off of Thunder Alley, but it's cars shooting futuristic post-apocalyptic. Okay, Apocalypse Road, I know Cody likes it actually better than Thunder Road. I like Thunder Road. I like the idea of Apocalypse Road, so it's one I definitely want to play, and I've been trying to get that one to the table. Hopefully I'm going to be able to do that here relatively soon. But there you go. That's my last one to play. Now let's get on to my number 1. Okay, folks, here we are. We finally made it. Number 1. What is my number 1 game of all time for racing games? You probably already know by now if you know me, or maybe you've guessed based off the different racing games that are out there. But when I'm done showing you what I have and explaining this, you are now going to understand why this is my number 1 game. Now, this game first came out in 1997. They did a reprint of it back in 2008, and I have a ton of this game. And this game is Formula Day. Okay, Formula Day is my all-time favorite game. I have played this game so many times. I absolutely love this game. Now, there's a couple homemade expansions and fan things for us. They have like a front wing and stuff like that, so you can manipulate how you're going into your corners a little bit better. But this is a fantastic racing game. A ton of luck in this game because you're constantly rolling dice, all right? And, you got a 30-sided dice. It only has numbers 21 through 30 on it. If you're 30 spaces out from a corner and you roll a 21, man, you're braking hard. But the cool thing about this game is you are building up your car, okay? And you get so many points, and you get to determine how much is going to go in the body, how much is going to go in the tires, how much is going to go in the engine, how much is going to go everywhere, okay? Now, like I said, Formula Day, fantastic, but It was reprinted as Formula D back in 2008. I don't play this one anymore. I'm strictly playing this one, and I have been doing that since 2008. Okay. All the tracks that are available for this one will play just perfectly fine on this. Now, Formula D, one of the nice things it did is it came out with a nice little dashboard with a little shifter that goes around it. Takes up a little bit more space, but that's okay because you're going to notice it's a lot bigger box as well. Okay. But it still plays exactly the same. Okay. I think they did some minor rules, tweaks, and everything else. However, I am not done yet, folks. I am absolutely not done yet because I'm going to show you why this is my favorite game. One of the things about Formula Day that I absolutely love is they came out with tracks. Now, Heat Pedal to the Metal has been coming out with tracks, but have they been coming out tracks like Formula Day has? Look at the tracks I have. This goes, I think, all the way up to into the 30s. There's a lot of tracks, all right? You got the core game that has a whole bunch of tracks, plus you have all the tracks that came out with this one. We used to play seasons, okay? So we would have all these different tracks, and you get points based on where you finished. And we would get together a couple times a week, and we will play this game. Now, there's some things that I do with this game when I'm playing it is I use a timer, okay? I do a 30-second timer. When it's your turn, you have 30 seconds. If you haven't made a decision on what you're doing, whatever gear your car's in, that's the dice you're rolling, and you take your chances, okay? This is racing. Now, the other thing about this game with Formula D, well, they also have all these tracks as well, okay? So I have all of these that I can play, plus I have all of these I can play, all right? And each one of these has got 2 tracks, plus the number of tracks that are in the base game. Now, the cool thing about Formula D is they actually did a street racing piece as well. So they have some different things on the tracks. You don't have to play the street racing, but you can play those side of the tracks, just regular racing as well. But there are other tracks you can play, and they're a whole lot of fun, okay? But, like I said, I have more than enough tracks for this game. I don't think they're going to be putting anything else for it. Now, you're going to notice 3 of these tracks are still in the shrink wrap, okay? I've actually played all 3 of those, but I played a buddy of mine's. I haven't actually played mine because he had them, and we were just playing his. So I'm like, oh, okay, well, I don't need to open mine up. So eventually I will. But here you go. This, ladies and gentlemen, is my #1 racing game of all time. I know there's a lot of you that are going to be saying, no, absolutely not. But to me, I have played this game so many times. My local game store, they actually, way back in the 80s, 90s, Dark Horse Games, they used to do seasons as well. So we'd go down there and we'd play it. I mean, we'd have 10 people playing on one track, and they would be long nights, but they would be fun. We're also timing those as well, but so good. There you go. Folks, that is my #1 game, #1 racing game of all time, Formula Day, Formula D. All right, folks, there you go. That was my top 15 racing games right now of all time. I did give you 4 honorable mentions. Like I said, Charioteer really should be in this list. I would definitely be bumping like a Rush and Crush off the bottom of this list because Charioteer, it is a racing game at heart, but it's just, well, it's chariots. It's not cars. And I kind of wanted this to be, this is cars and motorcycles because that's what I like. That's just how I do it. Charioteer just kind of falls to the wayside. Okay. But what are yours? Okay. Tell me, what do you think of my list? Am I way wrong in some of my decisions? Should Formula D not be #1, but not even be in my top 10? Okay. I know there's a lot of you that think Heat Pedal to the Metal should be #1. Some people think Thunder Road Vendetta should be #1. Car Wars. I mean, you can sit there and argue a lot of this. I know people that Red, White, and Blue Racing is their #1 game of all time. You tell me what yours. Down in the comments below, you list your favorite games of all time, and tell me what games I don't have on this list, because these are the only racing games that I have and that I've played. I'm slowly buying more. I'm trying to get as many as I can. I know there's a few coming out in Kickstarter right now that I want to get as soon as they come out in retail. But yeah, let me know what I need to play. Let me know what I said and did wrong in my list, and give me yours. What are your top 10 games? Well, thank you once again for joining me today. As always, I please ask you like this video on YouTube, Board Game Geek, Facebook, or even on X. Please leave me a comment on any one of those platforms. I'll get to those comments just as soon as I can. And also, folks, if you like the content that I provide you here, if you haven't done so already, I humbly ask you to click on that subscription button and even click on that bell to be notified when I drop new videos. And also, if you like the videos that I do here, I also post videos over on the Discriminating Gamers channel. Over there, we'll do some unboxing, some reviews, and some playthroughs. I'll leave a link to Cody's channel down in the details below. You know, nostalgia just isn't what it used to be.